Lipsinc for the Lazy Part 2, Realistic People.
I'm going to assume you're using people created in Makehuman, imported using MHX2 like in my last video. If you're using characters created in ManualBastioniLAB or wherever, or one you've created yourself, that's absolutely fine. Though, seriously, how does that work? You spend months creating a character only to suddenly become really lazy when it comes to animating. Still, what do I know of your pipeline?
First lesson, find a way to not animate the hands.
That swapping between posings we did in the tween cartoon episode? Yeah, that doesn't work with real people. Animating hands is faffy and there's a lot that can go wrong. Instead, find a knee, table, rail, bag or pocket to put your hand on. A tutorial on putting hands in pockets is on my to-do list.
I'll do that one. As if you can fit your hands in your pockets in them shorts.
And it's very important to, where it says no sync here, we want to select AV sync or audio visual sync so it plays back with the audio and the video in sync with each other. Now you may think, as we spent a while getting these facial controls here, that we'll be using them to animate the lips. Well, we will be using them for facial expressions, but not on the lips. First stage, we're going to select the rig, and I'm going to go to rig buttons and rest position. Now, and if I go into front view, we have her staring directly at us. If your character is not facing directly due north, south, east or west, if they're at a slight angle, then this bit is going to be a bit difficult. I recommend maybe if you keyframe on, say, frame 100, the angle that they're currently at, and then you go back to frame 1 and press Alt Rotate and create another keyframe, you will not have lost your posing and will be able to get on with this. So, the first thing we're going to do, we've selected the head mesh and we're in the mesh buttons. Right at the bottom of here, I'm going to create 3 more shape keys called E, O, and chin. These work in the same way as they do on the tweened cartoon version. So, if I go tab into edit mode here, and we have on the options tab here, and it took me a while to realise this, we have a very useful X mirror and also topology mirror. So if your head is not perfectly symmetrical, which a lot of humans don't actually have perfectly human heads, but they have symmetrical topology, like each face here as an equivalent face on the other side, we will still be able to use this. We also want to go to proportional editing connected, and we want to be on E, and we want to make ourselves the E mouth shape. Well, that proportional editing is way too big. We can roll the middle mouse button down until it's about there. If you're using ManualBastioniLAB, and I sincerely hope I've pronounced your name correctly, and you're getting this problem, tab into edit mode, select vertex, G for grab, drag it, nothing's happened, tab out. Oh, something has happened, but I wasn't able to see it as I was doing it, so like it's just really not very good. If you're getting that problem, then there is a button that fixes it. Undo. We've looked at her squished face for long enough now. So yeah, if I select one of the shape keys, or in fact basis, there's this button here. If I untick it, I'm now able to grab vertexes around and see what I was doing. I don't know why this button exists, it seems to be a ruin your day button. Just like in the just like with the tweened cartoon, the E face wants to be slightly wider than the shut mouth. Also, if we go on to side view, we'll notice that as a 3-dimensional realistic human mouth wides, the sides of it are also pulled back slightly. You use a very similar process to create the O face. And this is where things get complicated when we do the chin. I'm going to go to side view and I'm going to move the face to another layer, and then I'm going to start off on the face again, go tab into edit mode, and I'm going to select a vertex that's approximately on the position the jaw hinges. So I'm going to select that vertex and select cursor to selected. And on Makehuman, this is actually quite easy to do this. If I select edge mode, I can then select this one that comes to here, and I can go to from connected proportional editing to just straight up enable, and I want to rotate around the 3D cursor, and I'm going to rotate, and I'm going to hold down Control, and I'm going to move it. And we need to scale up the amount that's moving. Well, I haven't moved it yet. Grab and scale that up to about there. In fact, yeah, that's just so the very start of the nose is being stretched, but I'm not actually stretching it around like this. What I am doing is rotate, is R for rotate, and holding down Control, and I'm going to move it 15 degrees. You can see that, well, it was in the bottom left hand corner there. I might do like some highlighting thing when I come to edit it. Right, so now we're going to go back to here. We must be very careful not to move that. And I'll select the teeth, and I want to be on vertex select, and I want to have that unselected. And this one is now going back to connected. The proportional editing. Circle select. I'm going to select like around here, the bottom half, and I can press Control keypad plus and then Control keypad minus. And now you see I've got all of the bottom row of teeth selected, and the bottom half of the jaw. And now if I rotate this and another, you know what I failed to do? I failed to actually create a shape key here, so I'm going to press Tab, new shape key, which is also called chin. Note that this has to be spelt exactly the same way as the shape key called chin on the face. Now, note that the cursor key is still in exactly the same position, and I'm on chin here. And now I'm going to rotate and hold down Control, and well, I need to bring that in like to about there now, but that's rotated -15 as well. And finally we have the tongue again, another one called chin, and when it's spelt the same, that goes down all the way to it having the same capitals in it. I think, I can't remember if these are case sensitive. That is surprisingly hard to say right now. Or not. And with the chin, well, we just select it all and we go 1, 2, 3, so that's rotated -15 there as well. We can now select that one, and the face, select that one and join. And now we have one chin that will control all of them. I mean, you can't really see at the moment. That it's affecting all three of them, but if we also turn the OO up, it doesn't actually look very good until we also move the chin. But fortunately, the O and chin shape keys will be working at about the same time, because they're both based on the lower frequencies of our audio, because yeah, we're doing the same audio sensitive shape keys as we did on the last one. And it's very important to, where it says no sync here, we want to select AV sync or audio visual sync, so it plays back with the audio and the video in sync. And now to import the audio, I'm just going to drag that up there, and I'm going to go to the video sequence editor, and I'm going to go to frame 100, and I'm going to import the audio now using Shift A, sound, and there it's the file I'm using. You can actually just drag the audio file onto this as well. I'm going to click that one because I don't actually need a video preview, I'm just using this for audio. And the last frame, I'm going to right click the end bit there, and I see that the last frame is frame 537. So let's end this on frame 537. I'm also going to click this little plus here, scroll down here and put draw waveform, so now I can see the waveform there. I'm using the middle mouse button to scroll now. Why did I start at frame 100? Well, it will become clear at the end, because I think having a Chekhov's gun in the middle of a tutorial could be really cool. Okay, I'm going to just drag that panel out of existence, and I'm going to drag up another panel here and make it a graph editor. You may remember in Lipsinc for the Lazy tweened cartoon, I basically used audio to control these 3 shape keys, and we're doing more or less the same thing here, but we want a little bit more adjustment. This is like advanced version. So what we're actually going to do, and I'm going to go to a new layer to start to do it, and I'm going to press, the 3D cursor's in the middle already. If it wasn't, we use Shift C to center it, and I'm going to add an empty, a listener, but an empty. Let's go for arrows, and let's call it listener. It's just mysteriously been spelt with a U in it, which I'm going to get rid of. Let's also have display name, and I want to make it an X-ray object so it can be seen through other objects. And I'm now going to duplicate that. And this one, I'm just going to press the plus here. This one is going to be at position 1, 1, 1. And this one is going to be called multiply. You know how we're basically going to make the audio control the 3 shape keys we just created. So the E will be controlled by the high sounds. The O will be controlled by the low sounds, and the chin will also be controlled by the low sounds, but it will move significantly slower than the O face shape, because the lips will move faster than the chin. They're like that. So, but rather than doing it directly, we're basically going to make this object, I'm pressing home to make it appear, the listener. This object is going to move along the X direction for the E shape, the Y direction for the O shape, and the Z direction for the chin. So I'm going to select X location first, and we're going to bring in the E part of the audio. Key. Bake sound to F curves. And the E starts on 500, lowest frequency. The highest frequency is as high as it goes, which is only that actually. Fair enough, I'm happy with that. Attack time of 0.001, release time of 0.05, 0 threshold, and that's all okay. Bake sound to F curves. And now I'm going to go to the Y one. Bake sound to F curves. Same audio clip, but this time lowest sound is 0 and the highest sound is 500. And the rest of those we can leave as they are. And finally Z location, bake sound to F curves. And here we want a slower attack time of 0.05 and a release time of 0.2. And that's okay. So now this listener object will move along with the audio. So let's I'm just going to drag that up and make us able to see this guy again, as well as these 2 empties. And now we're going to use drivers to make these shape keys react to the position of the listener object. We still want this, and we're going to shift this F curve one to drivers and select the mesh buttons, and we're going to go down to the shape keys, and we're going to right click value, add driver, manually. We're going to do the same for O, right click value, add driver, manually, blah, and chin. So now if we click key here, we have all the other keys, which are all actually controlled by drivers. I mean, that's how this face panel is able to control all the expressions. It's all done with drivers. But we're creating a few of our own. If we scroll down to the bottom of this, we come up with our ones. We have E, which is going to be, if we could click driver there, I'm going to just drag that up a bit, get a bit more space. I'm seriously running out of screen real estate here, if you haven't noticed. So we'll have L for listen. Let's have capital L. Object, what was it called? It was called listener. X location in world space. We're happy with that. We also want another variable which is called M, and it's oh no, we want that to go to transform channel, and this is the multiplier. So mu, there we go, multiplier, and that's also the X location. And the scripted expression is L times M. The next one we go to U. We have L, and we want to change that to transform channel M. Object listener, object multiplier, and this time this one's Y location. This is L times M. Now the chin. This one's the Z location. Getting that before. Oh, here, I've forgot to actually name them. That's what went wrong there. So L and M. It seems to be traditional encoding that the asterisk stands for times, because if you're going to use the X key for times, it would just wouldn't be able to have any variables for X, would you? Now hopefully it's working. And if I just select the rig and go pose position and keypad 0 for camera view, I'm just going to tidy this up a bit. And we're able to see what the advantage of having this separate multiplier object is. And now we're able to adjust everything more. If we decide that we need more O sound, we can move it along the Y direction. If we decide we need more chin, we can move it upwards. And if there's sound on the audio file that's not meant to be the character talking, we can just key it to 00 for that section. So if you have more than one character running off the same audio file, you can have one multiplier per character, and you can basically keyframe each multiplier to 000 when they're not talking, and wherever you find is a good appropriate position when they are talking. Facial expression is controlled with these things here. Right click to select as ever, and G to grab. And we're able to make him smile and raise an eyebrow. And I use C circle select to select them all. And I location. Oh, let's change this to the dope sheet. I think then we'll be able to see what we're doing a little better. I can then use Alt G to Alt grab. I location again. So we're currently tweening between these two expressions. And then I'm going to copy that keyframe to there, hold that expression for that long, and then we're going to go into just Alt G to put them default, and then I can do this to create a frown, and actually I'm going to bring these down a little bit to accentuate that frown before doing this. I followed by location again. It's easiest to do expression as a series of holds. Hold for one sentence, he holds that expression, and then she jumps to another expression for the next sentence. And before I finally let the Chekhov's gun out the bag, did you know I mix all my own metaphors? I meant to say, before I let the Chekhov's gun off the mantelpiece, I'm just going to introduce you to a whole load of key presses and how they work together. As you probably know, Alt A is play. I've muted the sound here so that I can hear my own voice over my own voice. I'm going to use shift right click to select all the bones that make up the back. So that's them four basically. Now if I select on the pivot center for rotating, if I select individual origins, if I now press R, it will also sort of bend with each individual part bending on its own individual origin. I can now press double R, and I'm able to get more control, being able to move the mouse up and down to rotate like this. However, I'm moving it this tiny little amount, and I'm getting too much. Double R again. Here, instead, I could hold Shift down, and here it moves a lot slower, so I'm able to get more control. Also, this button here means that every time I move something, it creates a keyframe. Control Z undo. And you may also know that if I'm moving an object around while it's playing, when this is on, it's creating a whole series of keyframes every time I move. This allows me to basically record movement in kind of a way a bit like a puppeteer. And this is why I insisted that the sound started at frame 100. It means that we get approximately 4 seconds, which should be long enough after pressing Alt-A to press R twice and hold down the Shift key so that you can record the movement of the spine. Okay, so I'm just going to drag the playhead back to frame 0. I'm going to make it start on frame 0. I'm going to unhide this, Alt-H, so I can actually hear what I'm doing. So right-click select with the Shift press to select multiple bones. I'm going to select all them bones of the spine. And record that. That needs to be pressed, so we're recording keyframes. And, well, if this take goes wrong, I can always press Control Z and do another one. Are we ready, clocks? Let's press Alt-A, R, and hold the Shift key down. And we can listen to the voice and record movement for the spine. After this, we can basically select the neck or the head and repeat the exact same process, adding movement to the neck and head as well. We may also want to grab and move the hips. That's what I did on the RuPaul in the workroom, the male incarnation thereof, on my previous video. And Alt-A again to stop it before frame 100 comes around. Otherwise, you're going to record over the previous keyframes. But that 4 seconds is probably about the right amount of time for you to press all the appropriate keys to stop or start recording. You get the general idea.
Oh.